right? That is the what we have done. We have made it very clear that what are the things. First one is we are talking in terms of inspection. Is it right? First one is inspection, confirmation, inquiry. Is it right? Confirmation, inquiry, and recalculation. Where we will do recalculation? See, we want to know cross-checking. Is it right? We want to know. Recalculation involves mathematical accuracy. Is it? See, as in the moment you will go for an audit, one of the first thing you will see that you will do the mathematical accuracy, totaling. That's all. Is it? Totaling of the records can be undertaken. What we will use? We use with the help of IT, or we are using with the help of any other sources. We will show the things. Is it? What we are doing recalculations? We are doing recalculations with respect to what? Non-current assets. See, this is the things which you should be clear. Is that with the moment they say with respect to non-current assets, then the first thing that happens is it comes to recalculation. If they say confirmation, we have to say it is receivables. We have to say bank confirmation. Is that we are talking about inspection, we are observations, we say it should be a inventory. Is right? The recalculation is nothing but a mathematical accuracy. Okay, we are taking it just to make it sure. What we are doing? We are confirming the accuracy of the figures that has been disclosed. We are not doing it is technically a non-technical job. Is it right? Reperformance. Reperformance is nothing but we are doing again. Okay, reperformance is we are doing again. We are reperforming the same job. What we are reperforming. See, this I am not saying this is not important. Is it right? I am saying that whenever you are reperform, you will reperform the bank reconciliation. Again, you will do the bank reconciliation. You will check. Is it right? You will verify. You will match it. Is it right? One by one, step. See, these are very crucial at every stage. Everything is significant for specific type of the getting the audit evidence. Okay, very simple, very easy. I am telling you this: audit evidence, inspection, observation, recalculation, reperformance. Is it right? Okay, fine. Is that these things we have to do? Reperformance is nothing but the auditor will do independently. Is that auditor will do independent execution of the procedures or controls. Is that this is here we are studying theoretical one. The moment you go to the question paper, we are going to do the practical ones. Is that tomorrow I am not going to take this one. I will take the question papers tomorrow. Okay, I will take the question papers and I will solve the question papers section B, not section A. Okay, section B. This is what is what you are doing. You are reperforming the bank reconciliation. Is that you are reperforming the to know what we are very much concerned about accuracy, and we are talking in terms of completeness. Okay, now analytical procedures. Is that every other place this we will do? Is that every other place as such? Every other place as such, is it right? We are going to work out on some specific factors. Is it? Now I told you somewhere down the 2-3 classes before. Is it right? What you are doing? We are analyzing what happened prior year, last year, and what happened this year, current year. Okay, see, I will give the example as such. Depreciation. Is it right? You have the depreciation. When you are saying about depreciation, last year depreciation is 10,000. This year we will value. Is that this year the depreciation is going to be 16,000. Is that now? What are the factors? Where analysis? We will analyze. Only we are writing. We are not doing anything. Is that? We want to. What we'll do? We will see what are the additions. Is it right? We are only going to match what are the additions and what are the deletions. Definitely, when we are going to say that the value of the amount of depreciation has been increased, the amount of depreciation has been increased only because of you have purchased new assets. I'm not saying that they will not. They will sell the old assets. They will have new assets in all the cases. Is it right? But most importantly, there will be some addition because of increase in the assets. What happens? Definitely there will be a increase in depreciation. Is that again we are talking about in terms of receivables. Is that receivables has been 10,000. I'm taking an example. Receivables has been decreased to 8,000. It happens. Anyway, is that when receivables have been decreased, immediately what you will analyze, what are the reasons of receivables decline? If sales is declining, is it right? If sales is declining, receivables will also decline. Automatically we will go to the prior year. Very simple. Prior year. These are the things the moment we practice it, it will be there in your mind by default. Okay, that is the reason whenever we are analyzing with the prior years, it is nothing but called as a analytical process. The process involve evaluating, comparing what? Comparing financial and non-financial data. Plausible relationship. What are the relationships that's happening? I told you what is the plausible relationship. Sales with respect to receivables. Sales is decreasing, receivables will also decreases. If non-current assets are increasing, depreciation will also increases. Got my point? This is the thing. This also include investigation in the fluctuation, changes. Is it right? Relationship and relationship that are inconsistent. Definitely, what will happen? Assume your non-current assets decreased. Is it right? Assume. Is it right? Non-current assets has been decreased. You will no way you can say that the depreciation amount will increase. Is it right? The depreciation amount will never increase. The depreciation amount will also decrease. If unfortunately, is it right? If unfortunately, is it right? If unfortunately, what happens? Assume the depreciation amount has shown increase. Is it? Definitely you will have a question mark. Is it? You will have a question mark. This is the way you will trap. See, you want to get the information from different sources. You will match the information from every other perspective and make sure that the evidence which you are going to obtain, that evidence should be accurate and reliable. Is that performing? What it says, performing proof in totals. What are the proof in totals of depreciation charge? Is that comparing the actual compared to this actual charge? Is it right? Of draft financial statement to assess whether it has been accurate and it has been complete. Is it? This is the concepts which we are going to use it in the period of time. How the examination will work? Is it right? It is imperative, it is compulsory that you understand the difference between what is the test of controls and the substantive. Whatever we have taken, it is right, wherever you are talking in terms of audit evidence. Is it right? Wherever we are talking about the audit evidence comes under the category of what? Substantive procedures. Now the moment you have the substantive procedures, is that you should be very clear and you should think about inspection, observation, confirmation, recalculation, reperformance, analytical procedures, and there is another one is there, I am missing, I don't know. Okay, the F8 will test both your knowledge and skills. Is it right? We have done in the test of controls day, how much 2 marks they have given. Is it right? Only 2 or 2 marks. She has previously commented that students often confuse these. Is that getting my point? That's the reason there should be a very determinantal. What is happening? What is the test of controls? Again, I am saying controls. To know the effectiveness of the controls, we use the test of controls. Is it? To make sure that we have to get the appropriate evidence, we use the substantive procedures. There should not be any doubt on this concept. We will look at the past example about what, how in the next slide. Is that, see what they are saying? They are asking us about, there are 4 financial statement assertions. Which one they say? They are talking in terms of what? They are talking in terms of accounting balances. We have done. Is it right? We have done. Anyone is there who can tell me? Existence, rights and obligations, completeness, and valuation and allocation. This is for what? This is for account balances. Is that? This is for account balances. Any account balances. Is that? Existence, rights and obligations, completeness, valuation and class allocation. Okay? Is that? Please do focus on this. Is that? It makes real difference. See, it will make a real difference. Okay? That's what it says. Is that? They are talking about what? In they are talking about the financial statement with closing balance. Identify assertion describes a substantive procedure relevant to the end of the year audit. With respect to what? See, inventory will kill us. Very simple. Is that if you are good in inventory, I can say it's a piece of cake for us. Is that? Inventory, once you are thorough with inventory, it will assist us in so many ways. They are talking about the first one is the assertions with respect to closing balances. The requirement of flow closing balances you should for a financial assessment. You won't get credit for more. Don't write more. Is it right? What are there? Existence, rights and obligations, completeness, valuation and what is that? Valuation and what is that? Valuation and allocation. Is that? Valuation and allocation. Yeah. And what about the financial statements? Any idea? Financial statements. Any idea? I will revise it. Is that? If I do it, you will also do.
Classification.
Yes.
Occurrence. Rights.
Classification. Occurrence. Rights. Accuracy and cutoff. Is it right? This is with respect to financial statements. Financial statements, accounting balances, presentation and disclosures. Is it right? See the thing. You prepare notes. I am telling you this. You prepare. You have those yellow slips are there now. You have the yellow slips are there now. You take those yellow slips. Okay. When you are talking about the yellow slips, what you will do? You will put like this: completeness. Is it? You will put completeness. Fine. Put like this. Is it? You put classification. Is it? You put I am giving you an idea. Okay. Classification and understandability. Is it? Classification and understandability. You put one line. Okay. You put accuracy and valuation. Is it? You put accuracy and valuation. Is it? You put existence. Is it right? You put one existence. You put one rights and obligations. Is it right? You take for your benefit only. See, you have to study smart. You should not study hard. Okay. Now, when you put like this, is it right? You put it as a financial statement assertions. Is it right? You will put it as a closing balances. Is it right? You put it as a closing balances. You write it as presentation and disclosure. Is that? Assume wherever it is fine, you put like this. Automatically you will understand. Yes. If you are talking about closing balances, it is a completeness. Is that if it is classification, yes, it is financial statements and presentation. Accuracy here. Automatically what will happen? In some cases you will have all three. Got my point? In some cases you will all have three. What you have to make sure that you take those things where you have maximum. Is that if all three are there, assume rights and obligations, it is very easy to memorize, to identify. Is it right? So we will not have any that much doubt. Is that wherever there is only one, is it right? Forget about that. Nothing will happen. They will not ask all. Is it right? They will ask only 3, 2, 4. That's all. Is it? They will not ask you all. So this is you make it a point. You take the yellow slips. You keep it what? Is that I will show you the shortcuts how to earn marks. Is it how to earn marks? Likewise, if you are putting like this, it will be easy. Okay. Now, what they say? Is it? Now, you will not get more credit. Don't expect it. Don't write fifth point. I am telling you this again. You write 4. Unfortunately, one will be wrong. Nothing will happen. But don't write. You are saying time management is very, very important. Very important, time management. You should complete the question paper. That's all the question paper. It is whether 2 marks or 3 marks. Read the question carefully. Want the financial statement assertions for account balances. You ask substantive procedures. So don't include test of controls. If they ask substantive procedures, focus on substantive procedures. If they ask test of controls, focus on test of controls. Sometimes they will ask controls and test of controls. Okay, then you focus on that one. Assume one marks on basis of how it has been given. Is that in part 2 specifically you should be specific with the audit test. You won't score much marks for vague answers. General answers, never ever think about it. Is it right? Discuss with the directors what you are discussing. That's very important. Discuss with the directors the counting procedures. Discuss with the directors bank reconciliation statement, whether it has been verified, whether it has been reviewed. Is it right? That's what we are going to discuss. We are not going to say that just discuss with the management. No, it will never give us any advantage as such. Is it? Imagine you are producing an audit program by the audit junior. They need to be able to go through the audit test. Is it whenever a junior person will do the work, a senior person has to review it. Is it right? They need to be able to go and carry out the test using the audit program without having to come back and ask you what exactly you means. If you are assigning any work to the junior auditor, the rule says that we have to make it what is the plan and what is the program related to. A good way to present your answer would be, see, they are telling again and again. Is that they are telling you again and again it should be in a 2-column format. Is that it should be in a 2-column format. One side you should say assertion, one side you have to tell you the application. Is that this is what it says. What they are saying, they are talking about the things. See, now I told you last class, they will say that for a sample of these are the examples. Is it right? These are the examples. Is that when you are talking about the closing balances, I think that they ask for closing balances only. Is it right? What they have asked, they ask for account balances at the year end. Is it right? At the year end, we are asking the account balances. What happens? Basically, we have to focus with what? We have to focus with the bank balance. Take the easiest one. Is that? Take the easiest one. We are talking about the existence. They mention existence of assets, liabilities, and equity. For a sample of inventory items on the inventory list, whether they are present it or not. Is that for the sample of inventory item? They have taken inventory all through the time. Keep it in mind. You take any question, you take any option, they will only focus on inventory. and cash majorly. Okay, next, this is the first one, means you have, it is, there is existence. If there is an existence, assets, liabilities and equity, a sample of inventory items on the inventory list, and for this you have to physically check whether this inventory is existing or not. Rights and obligation, is it? Rights and obligation for a third party on behalf of other companies, is it? You will have inventory at some other place, is it? You will have the inventory at a different place, is it right? Warehouse, assume, don't say very general, you are even inventory at a warehouse. When you have the inventory at a warehouse, definitely warehouse, assume the warehouse has been providing services for different clients, is it right? One, now you should make that whatever the inventory you are having in the warehouse, on that inventory you have the right or not. For any third party inventory on behalf of other companies, confirm and review that inventory listing, that this is not included in year-end balances. It is, if it is in the warehouse, if it is at the third party, is it right? If it is the third party, you have not received the inventory. Means you have to know, is it right? Which inventory, is it right? Which inventory, is it right? Which inventory we own, is that we have the right, and which inventory we don't have the right. Okay, if you are having the inventory at the warehouses, is that which, and assume very same, very specific, a warehouse have giving services for different customer clients. Okay, then you have to take into consideration your own inventory. That is where you are going to have the right over that inventory. Completeness, assets should have been recorded in the financial statements. For a sample of inventory, that it has been traced to the listing as such, is that you take a sample of physical inventory. Got my point? Physical inventory is, you are talking about stationery. Yes, you take the stationery and say that yes, if this stationery is there in the list or not, how many numbers are there. Assume you have a stationery of 5 numbers. You have to take the inventory list and say that it is, there are 5 numbers are there, or it is less than 5 numbers. Got my point? This is where we are talking about the closing balances. Valuation allocation with respect to the equity, liabilities, and you observe in all the cases, is it right? You observe one thing which is common in all the cases. They always talks about what? They always talks about assets, liabilities and equity. Is that they always take, the assertions is assets, liability and equity interest. Here also assets and liabilities. Is that assets and liabilities? Is that this will be there, valuation. When you are doing the valuation, we have to make sure, is it right, that the valuation has been on the basis of inventory. If you are talking about the inventory, IES 2, they say that whether it is at the lower cost or it is at a net realizable value. When you are talking about IES 16, is it right? If it is going, we'll say that it is based on historical cost, or in some cases it is going to be based on what? It's going to be based on the fair value. Is it? Review post year ending, last year selling prices for a sample of inventory held at the means what you are doing. See what happens inventory. See, when you are talking about the things, how it will happen. You will have sales, is it? You will have sales, you have cost of sales. Cost of sales is what? Opening inventory plus purchases minus closing inventory. This is assumed, this is for 2020, is it right? You have 2021. This closing inventory will become what? Opening inventory plus purchases minus closing inventory. Is it right? That is the reason when we are talking about the closing inventory will be having an implication on the valuation and how you are allocating the closing inventory among the its items in the financial statement. Again, what are the closing balances? Assertions, existence, rights and obligations, completeness, valuation and accuracy, allocation. Is it right? Valuation and allocation. There are two things: valuation. The valuation and allocation. Fine. Now, what it says is that that's all. Is it right? Means this is the way we are. What we have learned in this lecture. We have learned in this lecture the way the assertions have evidence. How we are going to collect the evidence as such. Is that 1 minute? I will go to the beginning. Is that control home? Fine. Is that what we have covered briefly specifically? Is it right? We are talking in terms of audit evidence. Is that what are the classes of transactions and what are the different sources of audit evidence as such? Is it right? When you are talking about the audit evidence, there should be a sufficient and there should be an appropriate. Okay, and when you are saying it is sufficient, you should make it sure that how much we need. Appropriate means reliable. Sufficient means quantity. Appropriate means quality. Okay, sufficient means quantity. Appropriate means quality. Okay, they are talking about the how we are going. If we are getting the information from different sources, how the information will have value. External sources, information value. Auditor is collecting information evidence on his own. It will be valuable. Entity provides information subject to internal controls. It is worth. Okay. Written evidence is more valuable than the oral, and originals are more valuable than the photocopies. Is it? You have verbal and you have written. Is it? And that's what we have done. Is it? And we are saying that how the if you are taking the help of the management expert, we should not just totally rely on that. We should make sure that whatever the work done by the expert, we have to evaluate. We have to obtain the understanding of that work, and most importantly, we should make sure that this appropriateness of work done as per the requirement of audit evidence. Is it right? Next, that's what we are talking about, the first part. The second part is we are talking about that controls, test of controls and substantive procedures. Is a difference between these two. When you are talking about the test of controls and substantive procedures, how we are going to have that, how we are going to obtain the evidence with respect to the financial statement assertions, closing balance assertions, and presentation disclosure. Is it right? When I'm taking the quiz, not the next week, after next week, not next quiz, after next quiz, it is only on lecture 7. Only on lecture 7. Both multiple choice and the theoretical questions. Fine? Next. Fine. Now, continuation to this, evidence and sampling. Is it how you will take the evidence? Is it right? What is the way of doing substantive procedure? Substantive procedures in terms of opening balances, substantive procedures in terms of accuracy, Is that substantive procedures in terms of analytical procedures? Is it right? Inspection is a substantive procedures. Is it right? We will cover those into those things into consideration. Is it right? When we make it a point, what will happen? See the thing. What we are going to cover in this lecture. That's first you have to have a clarity on that. We are talking about something on substantive procedures. We will make an estimates. Everybody will make an estimates. Estimates in terms of what? Estimates in terms of provisions. Is it right? Estimates in terms of provision. Estimates in terms of depreciation. Is it right? Estimates. We will make an estimate. That how? Estimates in terms of capital items, capital expenditure. Is it right? Estimate how we are going to make the estimates. Fine. Now we will cover this. We will talk about the audit sampling, how you do the sampling. Maybe some of you have studied. Is it right? We do the sampling. What is the sampling? Sampling is, assume this is the complete financial statement. These are all transactions we are going to have. Is it right? Now, we are not going to take the statutory auditor, the final audit will not take all the transactions. They will take a sample of transactions. Is it? This is going to be called as a sample, and the entire thing is going to be called as what? The entire thing is going to be called as a population. Now it is. Apart from that, there is another one which is very, very, very hot topic. Is it? Computer assisted audit techniques. If you, I don't know how many of you are aware about this. Now the system has been changing. Is it right? You will do audit online. Got my point? You are doing audit in COVID, during COVID. What people have done audit on online. Somebody is there in Germany. You are doing audit from here. Is it right? Just imagine computer assisted audit techniques. A new concept, but very interesting one. Is it right? And the last but not the least, how you are using the work of others. If experts are doing, is it right? Experts are doing, how we are going to evaluate the work of the experts. Is it right? These are the things we will do. Discuss the substantive procedures with respect to our audit evidence. I don't want to take that much time here. Discuss the proper and provide the examples how analytical procedures are used. The moment you say analytical procedures, is it right? I am writing prior year comparing with the current year. Ratio analysis is an analytical procedure. Is it right? Ratio analysis is an analytical. What are the problems associated with the audit and review of estimates? Definitely, when you are making the estimates, is it right? When you are making the estimates, there will be variation. When we compare, is it right? When we compare with actuals. Is it? These are the problems. Is it? How much should be the variance should be there? How we have to understand this? Define the audit sampling and explain the need for audit sampling. Is it right? What is the what is the requirement of year-end audit? Is it right? Statutory audit is otherwise called as a year-end audit. Year-end, we have done interim audit and final audit. Is it right? Interim audit, we go in detail. Final audit, we will do only the year-end balances. Is it? Very, very important year-end balances, substantive procedures we are doing in the final year-end audit. Is it right? In that case, definitely we are not going to cover each and every, whether it is yes.
The page is stuck.
Yes, sir, we can see what you write.
It's now okay?
Now, yes.
Is it okay? Fine, thank you. Is it what we are Sorry. What is the purpose of sampling? Is right? And definitely there are two different categories. The first one is we are talking in terms of statistical sampling, and the second one we are talking in terms of non-statistical sampling. Is it? This much we are focusing very specifically. Next, subsequently, what you are doing when we are talking about the statistical sampling is nothing but, I will just talk about, it is basically a random sampling. You are going to the client place, is it right? You will go into the client place. You will randomly check. You will check something related to September first week. Is it right? You will see what happened in September first week. You will verify. And instantly you will go for what? Instantly you will go something in February. Is it? Instantly you will go for October. Is it right? Then what you will do? You will go backwards. Is it right? You will go what happened in June. Is it? Stat is random sampling. Is it? There should be a random sampling and there should be a non-random sampling. Is a sample. That's why you will assume. You will say that you have the vouchers. Is it right? You have the sequence of the vouchers. What you will do? You will say that I will going to verify from 1 to 20. Is that? I will verify from 1 to 20 and I will give the gap. Is it right? I will give the gap and I will do 1 to 20. I will do 100 to 120. Is it right? I will do 200 to 120. Sorry, 200 to 220. I will do 300 to 320. I will plan like this. Every first 20 transactions I will do. Then that type of sampling is called as a block sampling. There are 5 different methods of sampling. We will do that. Is it right? Next. Statistical sample. The results of statistical samples includes whether we need additional testing or not. Now, see, that's what it says. Is it? What you will do, you will assume you are taking 1 to 20. Okay? And you are saying that 100 to 120. See the sequence. Is there serial numbers? Serial numbers. Voucher 1 to voucher 20. Voucher 100 to. Now, when you do this, there are 2 options. Is there? There are 2 options. In the first option, the material misstatement is right. The material misstatement is less. Then, in that case, you will not go for the next one. Is that there is only one error is there? Fine. Assume you are doing this 1 to 20. You are doing 1 to 120. You will say that the material misstatements are quite high. Is it right? The material misstatements are quite high. Definitely, what you will do, you will say that yes, I am going to do 200 to 220 also. I will going to do 300 to 320 also. If the material misstatements is high, is it right? If high, it means that risk is high. Is it right? It means that what? It means that, is it right? It means that, you see, if I am writing very clearly, if material misstatement is high, is it? It means risk is high. If risk is high, is it right? Immediately, what happens? You have to make sure that you have to make sure that you are going to what? You are going a detailed, substantive procedures. That is the way it has to be worked it out. Is it right? This is the concept of a sampling. Got my point? This is the concept of a sampling. We will go through it. Explain what is the computer assisted audit techniques. In usually when you do when we work out the things, they will say CAAT. Is right? CAAT, Computer Aided Audit Techniques, and discuss and provide relevant examples of using test data and audit software. This will always be there for how many marks? 2 marks. One for that, one for that. They are very bakhil people, okay? ACCA, they will not give you for 4 marks other. 1 mark for test data, 1 mark for audit software. Is that? Discuss why auditors rely on the work of auditors, because they want what? They want expert opinion. Is that? Discuss the extent to which the external auditor is able to rely on the work of experts, including the work of the internal audit. If internal audit is effective, the job of the external auditor will be easy. Where the internal audit will talk about, internal audit will specifically talk about wherever there are effective internal controls. Discuss with the audit or consideration relating to entities of what? Service organizations. Is that? Means we are talking about the service organization. In some cases, we are talking about the non-government organizations also. Is it right? No, NGOs, non-government. For those organizations also, there will be an audit. Explain the to extent to which reference of the work of others can be made in audit reports. Means if you are getting the reports of the experts, how we have to add it in the report, in the final report as such. Is it right? Now, how it happens? Is it how audit procedures and sampling? You are doing the sampling, fine, one side. You are talking about the computer assisted audit techniques. What we are doing? We are talking about two things. We are talking about the test data. This is first, okay, and we are talking about the audit software also. We will test we'll give negative inputs and we'll see whether it is accepting or not. Is that we are testing the data that the software is accurate or not. Is it right? This is otherwise called as a beta testing. Is that? This is otherwise called as using the work of the others. Is right? You are talking about the experts, you are talking about the service non-governmental organization, you are talking about the internal audit. And more or less, see, is it right? This is the first one, this is the second one, this is the third one, is it right? And this is the fourth one, and this is the fifth one. Yeah, audit of the accounting estimates, how you are making estimates, you should audit that, because every manager, every organization will make budgets, every organization will make the estimates, is it? And don't say that smaller entities are eligible or bigger entities are eligible, okay? How we are going to do the audit for the smaller entities also? What is the procedure? We have done this, is it right? I told you, every other lecture we have the things. Plan the audit, understand the entity, assess the risk, deficiencies and controls. If the test of controls, you have test of controls, is it right? If it is satisfactory, you will do restrictive procedures. If it is unsatisfactory, you will report to the management and you will do full substantive procedures. Okay, this is this every lecture you will have this way. Is it? Now coming to the point very slowly. Is it? What are substantive procedures? Is it? What you are doing? Substantive procedures are the audit test to obtain evidence to detect material misstatements. Is that? This is what substantive procedures means. You are testing the information, financial information from multiple aspects. You will do the totaling. Is it? You will see whether totals are right or wrong. We will do what we are talking re-performance. Is it re-performance? Means you are re-performing bank reconciliation statement. Okay, bank reconciliation statement you are re-performing. We'll see whether the things are right or wrong. Then what you will do, you will make a recalculation. Is that you will do a recalculation. Totaling is only you are talking about totaling. We are doing recalculation. Which type of recalculation we are talking about? We are talking about depreciation, to make sure that things are right or wrong. Is it right? Likewise, you are trying to obtain audit evidence to deduct. Listen my point. They are saying that your intention is what? Your intention is to deduct. Your intention is not to just get a satisfaction. You should, if you are doing like this, at any point of time, you will come across the reason or some mismatching with respect to the evidence provided by the client as such. There are two types of substantive procedures. One is test of details and one is substantive analytical procedures. Whenever we are asking in the examination, they ask you in the examination substantive analytical procedures. Most of the time, if you take 20 marks or if you take 30 marks question, without substantive procedures, you will not find any question paper as such. Is it? Remember, analytical must be used during audit and planning and audit completion. They can be used as a substantive audit procedure during the audit work also. Is it analytical procedures? What we are doing analytical procedures? See again, very simple. The moment I write again and again, it will be easy for you. Prior year and current year. Is it prior year? The article. I will just give me time. I will send you. I will forward some articles. When I say recent articles, very point. 10 to 15 marks will be there on those articles that has been published on the ACCA website. 10 marks, keep it in mind. Any paper you are writing, any paper, don't expect that it will be given from the textbook, nothing. 10 marks, they say very clearly, and that is the policy of ACCA. Whenever they give you the examiner's articles, from those articles they will give some questions in the examination. Is it right? I will forward it. Is it right? I will download it and I will forward. Is it? This is what substantive procedures. This is the useful model to prepare an audit plan. What they are doing. See the thing. What is the substantive procedures? We are agreeing with. See what happens. You will have the closing balance of last year. Is that closing balance of last year and opening balance of this year. I am using very simple language, okay? Opening balance of this year. Definitely the last year closing balance and this year closing balance has to match. Agree opening balances with previous year working papers. Is it whatever the working papers? What are the working papers? Working papers, is it right? Working papers belongs to whom? Working papers belongs to the auditors. Is it right? Agree the balances because every other notes has been given. Is it right? Every other notes you are taking down. If that is the case, therefore immediately what will happen? The opening balances has to go backwards. Because whatever the work done, is it right? Whatever the work done to arrive at these balances, is that at these closing balances, what the auditor is doing? You are taking the work and you are going to agree whether how the closing balance has been arrived, it is reflected with the opening balance or not. Fine, that is one of the one of the way of substantive procedure. What it says, review general ledger for unusual records. Is that what happens? Assume, very simple. Is it right? You will have sales. Is it right? You will have sales. You will have sales will lead to receivables. Receivables will lead to cash. Is that receivables will lead to cash? I will change the color, okay? I will change the color of the marker. Is that you are talking about 2019, you are talking about 2020. You will say that sales is going to be 100. Receivables will be 95. Is it right? Cash will be how much? Cash will be, receivables will be 100. Cash will be how much? 95. Maybe some of you, is that I will write 5 is the bad debts. Is that 5 is the bad debt? Now what happens? Assume if you are talking about the 100, is it right? Receivables will be also 100, but cash will be only 45. They will not ask you these examples. I am giving examples for your understanding. Is it right? In the examination, you have to write only these points. Understand point? Only these points you have to write. That also not all, 4 or 5 maximum. Okay? You have to review it to the general. Agree client schedules from records to the completeness. What we are talking about the thing, whenever we are talking in terms of the things I told you, we have to think in terms of what? We have to think in terms of receivables and we have to think in terms of payables. The amount of payables should match with receivables. If it is not matching, you have to do analytical procedures. Again, what you have to do? Why it is not matching? Prior year and current year. That's all. There is no other option. Is it right? Test transactions in detail. Test balances in detail. Means you have to do what are the various transactions and you have to do all the sub-ledgers. Is it right? You will have the ledgers, you will have the individual. Is it right? Individual accounts of customers. And last but not the least, you have to review the presentation and the disclosure. You have to test balances in detail. Is that individual account of the customers? Is that this is useful model for preparing the audit plan. Means you have to keep these things into consideration before you will approach a client. Is that before you approach a client, plan is very important. Is that yes? What is the plan? I will agree with the previous balance working papers. I will say that I will review the general ledger. I will agree with the client schedules. Is it right? I will do some analytical review. I will do some testing of transactions, and I will talk about testing the balances, and subsequently I will see presentation. This is the plan with respect to substantive procedure. Now, when you are doing the things, how they will assess? Is it right? The F8 exam is almost invariably, see the things, invariably they will have question on what? Substantive audit procedure. Fine. Describe substantive procedure you will perform to obtain sufficient appropriate evidence. From whom they are talking about? They are talking in terms of trade receivables. Means you have to do substantive procedures with respect to trade receivables. Trade receivables means what? You will have the sales. Is that you will see the thing? You will have the cash sales. You have the credit sales. These credit sales will go to where? Will go to receivables. While designing audit test, make sure that you distinguish between an substantive test and the test of control. Another issue to consider, which is very important, financial statement assertions you are testing. The examiner will test whether you understand the assertions or not. Means what? We are talking about financial statement assertions. Is that financial statement assertion? They are talking about a closing balance assertions. Is that they will talk about the assertions with respect to presentation and review. Is it right? That is the reason when we are talking about, don't mix up that one to this. That is the reason. The moment you do the table, it will be easy for us to work it out. You are a junior partner. What is the question answer? You are a junior partner who is assigned the task of audit field on a which type of assets? Non-current assets. Is that there are two things is been given? Is it right? One of the things is we are talking in terms of what? In terms of receivables. Is it right? One side we are talking in terms of what? In terms of non-current assets. Can you think that's what it says? Is that see basically, is it right? Basically, see in the examination, I don't know how many of you have. They will give you pen and paper separately. Plan when you are reading it. Write down. Put the question paper. Write down. That whatever it comes to your mind, first write down that. Automatically what will happen when you are starting the thing, you will get consolidated. You can consolidate on that. Is it right? Now, when you talk about substantive procedures, is it right? With respect to what? With respect to non-current assets. What you have to do, is it right? We are talking in terms of what? See the things. Now you will find the difference. You are inspecting sample of assets. Is it? Select a sample of assets from the assets register. Is that we use these words? Is it right? We use this. I will give. Is it right? We will have the assets only. Register we are using for assets, non-current assets only, not for current assets. Perform a proof in test of control with respect to our depreciation. Why we are doing this? Why we are doing this? We are doing it for accuracy and reasonableness. You have to divide. Is it right? You have to divide. See the thing. One is related to test of details and one is related to analytical procedures. Test of details is sample of assets. Is it? From the assets. Is it? You should, what happens? And physically, what is test of details? Assume a test of details is you are talking in terms of laptops. Is it? You are talking in terms of laptop. Register shows that there are 25 laptops. Register shows that there are with different types of laptops. Is it right? One type is 6, one type is 4, one type is 9. Is it right? Then one type is another 6. Then what you will do? What is the test of details? You will see the register. Is it right? You will see the register and you will physically inspect those laptops. Is it? This is the test of detail. Whereas, what is the substantive procedures on these laptops? Is it right? On these laptops, you will charge depreciation. Is it right? You will charge depreciation. Again, what you will do? You perform the depreciation so that you will know that there is an accuracy and there is a reasonableness. Is it right? Test of details, you will select the sample and inspect it. That's all. Whether laptops exist or not. Whereas intersubstantive procedures, you will go for various different laptops. Is it right? You will take a sample of the laptops and you will calculate the depreciation and to make sure that it will happen. It is universally it is needed for what? Non-current assets. They will not ask you more than this. They will ask you non-current assets, receivables, inventory, payables. That's all. They will not ask individually. Keep it in mind. Don't go into detail. How much they are asking, write that much. Okay. This is the first point where we are talking in terms of the thing. What is the second point? The second point says that select a sample of physically inspected assets. Select one, select the laptops. Is it right? Select the laptops. Assume here you are selecting 3 laptops. And trace back to the register and ledger to test the completeness. Take 3 laptops here. Is it right? Take 3 laptops and go back. Is it right? And go back and say that whether these laptops has been there in the ledger and these laptops has been having the evidence. Details. Is that only 3? We are not talking about other things. Is that means we one side in the first case what we are doing, we are moving forward. In the second case we are moving backwards. Compare any additions. This is what it says. Is it? What is the substantive procedure? Compare any additions to the prior year and investigate the reasons of any big difference. If there are any additions are there, make sure that what happens in the last year and what happens in the this year, because we are talking in terms of which type of assets? Non-current assets. Always non-current assets will have some additions. Is it right? Will have some additions, will have some disposals. I will not use the word deletions, okay? Disposals. If there are any disposals, you should make sure that how the things will happen. What it says, take a sample of additions. Is that, again, you are saying that yes, I am talking about the laptops. Is that, I have purchased how many laptops? I have 9 laptops. Is it right? Take of these 9 laptops. I am writing. I am giving examples in the beginning. Is it right? Take 9 laptops, and of these 9 laptops, what you have to do? You have to trace them back. Is that you have to trace them back? That's what it says. You have to trace them back and see that whether there is a purchase invoice is related to it or not. Is that there is purchase invoice related it to or not? This is the test of details. You are going into a detail for specific item. Substantive procedures is you are comparing ratios of depreciation with the what? With the previous year. With the previous year. That's what it is. Substantive procedures means what? We are always making sure that we are making a comparison. Whenever you are making a comparison, you are making a comparison with the 2019 with 2020. Test of details is nothing but reconciliation. Reconciliation of non-current assets with the general ledger. See, assets first and foremost. With the moment you are talking about non-current assets, first the moment you are receive the asset, you will write it in the register. That is the reason what they are saying all the time. Register, non-current register, non-current register. That is the first point of entry. Got it? That the moment you receive non-current assets, at the receiving place, reception, you will write down what you have received. That is very important. Whenever on that basis only there will be payments. Okay, on that basis only there will be payment. That is the reason whenever we are talking in terms of non-current assets, we always mention non-current assets register. Fine. Now you understand, very simple, what is the test of details and substantive. Is that substantive procedures means you are getting the evidence in number. Test of details, we are verifying, where we are making sure that it is related to particular asset. We are not doing any calculations in test of details, whereas in the substantive procedures we do the calculations. Fine. We now go to look at what are the estimates. Is it touch and go? Concepts are very, is that only concepts? An accounting is an approximation of a monetary amount in the absence of precise means of measurement. We are making an estimates, is that we are making estimates of capital expenditure. Is that we are making is that we are talking in terms of expenditure of capital expenditure. We are making an expenditure with respect to revenue expenditure. Is it right? This is more than 1 year, and this is less than 1 year. We will make an assessment. We are making estimates with respect to what? Provisions. Definitely, whenever we talk about estimates, estimates are only an idea. They will be plus, they will be minus. But estimates has to be accurate. That is very important, is right? You are making an estimate, fine, no doubt on that. But the reason is the estimate should be very, very accurate. Means you should not have that much differences. Estimation uncertainty is susceptible of a accounting estimate. They will be see, is it right? See, we are making estimates. Nobody has projected there will be a COVID-19. It happens. Everything went down. They said that it will happen, it will go down very fast. No, it carried for 2 years. Isn't it? All the estimates what we have been made, that estimates has been whitewashed. Is it? Means there is a uncertainty will be there. Is it right? There will be uncertainty will be there. In that is going to be disclosed. That is the inherent. Is it right? There is a part. This is the part of the measurement. Is it right? This is not a different. Management point is that selecting a management for recognition or disclosure of statements as an accounting estimate. What is a management perspective? Is it right? Management's perspective in terms of sales, management's perspective in terms of recoveries. Is it right? Management perspective estimates in terms of cost of inventory, purchase of inventory. Everywhere you should have a budget. Is it right? In that budget you have to make an estimates. Is it? Definitely it is only a, it is not, the point is you make an estimates, unavoidable circumstances, the estimates will change, but every time there should not be variation in estimates. That is the, you have the management point estimates, you have the auditor point estimates. Is that? Means auditor will also have estimates in terms of what? Estimates in terms of errors, estimates in terms of performance materiality. Is it right? Estimates in terms of performance materiality, estimates in terms of overall materiality. Is it? These are the things that happens whenever we are talking in terms of both the things. Here what happens? We are using another a small concept with respect to estimates. ISA 1540, accounting estimates, including what? Including the fair value. Is it? The auditing accounting estimates means you are making, see, that's what it says. You say margin of error. Is it? You will say this is the margin of error. How much error we can acceptable. Is it? What we say, the rule says that, is it? The rule says that the error should be at the lowest and acceptable level. Is it right? The error should be at the lowest and acceptable level. That's what it says. Is it right? On this basis there are some guidelines which have been given. Is that what are where we do the estimates? Is that in which areas we do the estimates? We are doing, this is what I told you, estimates with respect to doubtful accounts. Is that you will have the sales, you will have the receivables, and you have the cash. Here what happens? Definitely you are making some provisions for non-recovery. This is an estimate. You will talk about inventory obsolescence. Is that any inventory? Take my word, any inventory. Is that what will happen? You will have a packing date. Is it right? You will have the expiry date. Is it right? You will talk about medicines. Is it right? I'm talking only about consumables. Okay. You talk about medicines. There will be a pack. What are the estimates? How much you are buying medicines? Is it right? You are doing the business in medicines. Then you will say that yes. Sometimes what will happen? I don't know whether you have observed or this or not. This is the moment you do audit, you will understand this. Okay. What they will do is that, see the things. You are in 2022. Is it right? You have a packing date. Is it right? You have a packing date is 2017. Is it right? You have an expiry date. Is it right? You have an expiry date of 2023. Got my point? The moment you are reaching 2022, what the person will do? They will give lot of discounts on this product so that it has to be sold within what? Within 2022. Medicines are there, is it right? You cannot sell medicines of 2023 in 2023. No. People will see what is the packing date and what is the expiry date. Is it right? Those types we have to make sure what is the obsolescence. Warranty obligations we will make. Is it right? They will give you warranty. Is it right? They will give you a warranty. Once they are giving the warranty, every vehicle, assume on vehicles, every vehicle will not have any technical issues. Is that out of 1,000 vehicles, one vehicle or two vehicle will claim warranty. Is it right? But if they are claiming the warranty, definitely it will be a huge amount. Is it right? That is the reason we have to make an estimate. How many customers? Is that how much amount? Is it right? How much amount should be allocated for warranties? Sometimes there will be no warranties. Sometimes there will be warranties. Take the car insurance. Is that car insurance? What will happen? Sometimes you will for 10 years you will not have any claim. And some customers will have claim at the end of every year. Is it right? So that's what it says. I will complete this and I will stop here. Okay? Don't worry about that. I will complete here. I will stop. Depreciation. Definitely. What will happen? You are talking about the depreciation. You are talking in terms of the life of the asset. See, we will say that the life is 5 years. But actually, what will happen? Actually, the life will be how much? After 3 years, is it right? After 3 years, we will have a replacement. After 3 years, we have the replacement. Definitely, we are using a straight line method. We will change it for written down value method. Is that automatically the estimates will change, the amounts will change. Outcome of long term contracts. Is that what it will be executed or not? You have a long term contract of 5 years, but after 3 years you will break the contract. If you want something new, you want something different. Is that definitely what will happen? The estimates will get affected. Cost arising from litigation, say legal settlements. Is it right? Cost arising for legal settlement. When a company will have a legal case, sometimes it will win, sometimes it will lose. It will have impact. Is that the company estimates that they will win, but subsequently the company will lose the case. Is right? But you have to, whenever you are doing the things, I don't know whether you have some understanding about the concept of prudence. In accounting it says, what the concept of prudence says that we have to be cautious all through the time. Is that we have to be cautious all through the time. We should never be aggressive. Is it right? The moment you are cautious, you will make sure that things will work as per your requirement. Provisions against carrying amount of investments. In terms of what? In terms of shares. Is that in terms of what? In terms of equity shares. Is that what happened? Definitely there will be sometimes it will be market boom is there, you will gain. Market is not booming, it will be losses. Is it right? I will stop here. Okay, fine. I will stop.